I recently did a map of Georgia for a client, and I wanted to show major rivers, lakes, etc. Since every state has a GIS office, I went there first. They didn't have a good file for water bodies, so I went to the USGS National Map, which has the NHD data. If you're not familiar with this, it's an extremely detailed dataset of water bodies in the US. For most mapping projects, it's too detailed. It shows every little lake and stream, which can easily overwhelm a map. I found an easy way to take advantage of the detail without getting swamped with water data. I'll go to the USGS National Map to get the NHD data. First, I'll zoom into Georgia by entering it into the search field. Then I'll click on the Extent button and draw a box around the state boundary. In the Data section, I'll check the box for hydrography and leave the second box checked for NHD plus high resolution. That's the dataset you usually want. I'll click Search Products. Here's what I get. 13 results are returned. Before I download them all, I'll check the footprint for each one. This is a good idea for all national map data. It often returns data that is outside your desired area. Hovering over the footprint link shows the area on the map. It looks like all of the results are within the state, with some overlaps, so I'll download them all. Important: if you click on the regular download link, you'll get a raster file, which is not very useful. Instead, click on the other format link to get a geodatabase file, which contains shapefiles. These files are pretty big, so the download will take a while. Now that all of my downloads are ready, I'll go to QGIS. First, I'll load a shapefile of the state boundary and change the CRS to a Georgia state plane. Now I'll locate the downloaded files in the file browser and click the little triangle to open it, then click the first triangle inside it. This shows a list of data files. Here's where things get a little tricky. Most of these data files are not useful for general mapping. They are for specialized scientific purposes. Here's the key to using NHD data. There are only two files you need to add from each download: NHD area and NHD water body. You can ignore all of the other files. The first file I want to add is NHD area, so I'll drag it onto the canvas. The next one is NHD water body. That's it. I'll ignore all of the other ones. I now have all of the rivers, streams, lakes, and other water bodies. I'll repeat this with the other NHD files. Wow, it's kind of a mess. We'll fix that shortly. First, I'll organize my layers. I have two kinds of data layers: NHD area and NHD water body. I'll drag them up and down in the layer stack to group them together. Next, I'll merge the like ones together using the Merge Vector Layers function. Vector Data Management Tools, Merge Vector Layers. I'll click the button at the end of Input Layers and check the boxes for the NHD area ones. Then click Run. When it's done, I'll have a new layer called Merged. I'll rename this NHD Area Merged. Now I can delete the original NHD area layers. Next, I'll repeat this for the NHD water body layers. Now we have three layers: the state boundary and the two NHD layers. When I zoom in, there are a lot of little lakes, many more than I want to show. These are on the NHD water body layer. Here's an easy way to clean up this mess and get rid of the small lakes. I'll open the attribute table for the layer. With road data, there is usually a field for road class or something similar that makes it easy to filter or separate the data into individual layers, but there isn't anything like that for water. However, there's something just as useful. There's an attribute called area square km, which is the area of each water body in square kilometers. I'll click on this to sort the column. Already I can see that there are a lot with a value of 0. In fact, if I scroll down, almost all of them have an area of less than 1 square kilometer. I can use this attribute to filter the data. I'll close the attribute table and right-click on the NHD water body layer, then select Filter. I'll double-click on area square km and then on the greater than or equal to sign and add 1 to complete the equation. When I click OK, I get this. What a difference! I still get the high resolution for the rivers and larger lakes, but without all of the clutter. Try different values for the filter to include more or fewer small lakes. That's it for now. See you next time. Check out my designer's guide to creating great maps at their mapguide.net and download 2 free chapters.